Well, hello there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Tuesday to my fierce tribe of aesthetic leaders. I am so excited to see everybody here today. Thank you for joining me. What a phenomenal weekend it was, celebrating our heroes, and really such an appropriate time to reflect on the opportunities that we have in this country and the freedom that we have for all of those who served our country. So thank you for your service. For those of you out there who are our current heroes and fallen heroes of our beautiful country, love living in America. And I'm here today because I'm actually really excited to have this final session in May of the Prevailing Post-Pandemic series. Really because I have been teaching over the past 2 months, and I'm telling you, for 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever the actual number, I feel like it's been a year, and the climate has changed so much over the course of the past few months and weeks, and really day to day, that the thought of preparing for the future in aesthetics for me is equally scary as it is exciting, because we just don't know what is coming. So today I want to dive into our final session of strengthening your brand in the new economy. And I want to wrap up this Prevailing Post-Pandemic series in May with really my thoughts on what I'm working on with clients right now in terms of preparing for the future in our industry. There is no question that these are truly some unprecedented times. And because we just don't have a crystal ball to tell us what the new normal is going to look like, we really need to put timeless business principles in place and put ourselves in position to adapt and be able to be nimble and adjust to whatever really comes our way. And I do have clients who are at this time really forging full steam ahead. They're hiring new employees, taking advantage of this lucrative or plush and fruitful hiring market. Some are investing in real estate, some are doubling down on marketing efforts, and there are others who are just kind of proceeding with caution as they're trying to really feel out what the new normal is going to look like. They're testing these new practice operations. They're seeing how patients are responding. And so there's really a lot that's going on. And I would say collectively, the folks that are in the tribe here and those clients of ours in the academy and our private clients, there's really a variety of reactions that people are having based on where their business stands right now. And so I've talked over the course of the past 2 months about pivoting for profit, really leaning in on activities that will exponentially maximize your impact, and restructuring your approach to your market to meet customers where they are. And in our Leadership Academy, we're launching a formalized online program for patients to essentially scale up the consultation and captivate an audience through rapport building, education, and direct sales. And to say that this is the new normal, or we're really like in the middle. We're just in limbo land right now. And so if you're looking at me listening to this like, Kaeli, how are we even really talking about what the future is going to hold? I just don't even know what to expect, because it's just nutty right now. We all feel that way. And you know, like I said, it has been a very interesting past several weeks, but what I can tell you is that through the intensive work that I've done, both at a high level and also micro, working down in practices, that there are some commonalities and there are some trends that I'm seeing that I am rolling out and executing with our clients and also in my business, because I believe that these are the things that are going to take our businesses to the next level, regardless what the economy brings for us. So some things we do know, 36%, I'm sure that number has even gone up since I read this article in the Harvard Business Review. of consumers are spending more time purchasing online than they did just before this pandemic started. Also, a recent New York Times article published data showing that really the tolerance for screen time, I joke about screen time with my kids, but our tolerance for screen time just as individuals who are doing business or consuming products or services online has really grown, and it's just higher than ever. And this is not likely to change. And so practices are really, while they're seeing fewer patients during this COVID time, business really production and velocity has slowed down. We have to think of ways to help improve traction and communication and connection with clients so that whatever happens going forward, be it another wave of isolation to come, who knows, we are prepared for that. And so today I want to go through with you as, the final step in the 3-part series, Strengthening Your Brand in the New Economy, of really 4 power pillars that I'm working on in my business and also implementing with our clients at KLC and our Pop Leadership Academy members to strengthen their brand, their business, and their position for the future of our aesthetic industry. And these pillars are designed to reflect timeless business principles and be applied through modern tactics, which is really the forefront of what our philosophy is all about over here. For those of you who are just hopping on, welcome. And if you don't know me, my name is Kaeli Lindholm, and I am the founder of KLC Consulting and the Pop Aesthetic Leadership Academy. We help practices make 6- and 7-figure leaps in their business regardless of the economy. I really believe in building freedom-based businesses, and that means leveraging your business, leveraging team, strategy, and systems so that you can build the business of your dreams and scale it to what you would like to without you being the center of the universe and compromising your quality of life. So thank you so much for being here with me today. And I do go live in the tribe, in the group, every Tuesday at noon. And we're going to be rolling out the June series here. I'm excited. I have a call with my team. Hello to those of you who are on and going to be a part of this. But we have a call later to discuss what's going to be happening in June. And I'm super excited to roll on into weekly sessions that are just turbocharging tactics and strategy for you to implement in your practice. And we're linking arms and working together to help you pull through as we pull through in tandem through this pandemic and what's to come in this new economy. So I want to go ahead and dive in now on these 4 pillars of strengthening your brand and preparing for the future of aesthetics. So number 1 is visibility. And by that, I mean it's time to scale up your visibility, not just on your own platforms where you're hanging out, but looking into joint collaboration. So that might look like if you're going live on Instagram, going live with another individual who has a shared client database that has potential clients that could become patients of yours, that has an offer that is complementary to yours, and leveraging their database as well so that you can expand your reach. I see too often we hang out and feel like, well, I have my email list and I'm just going to email my list, or I'm investing in SEO, so that's going to be enough for me. But really right now, it doesn't cost anything more to think a little bit outside the box to scale your visibility on other people's platforms. You could look into joint collaborations like podcast as an example. Podcast guesting is something that I'm a big proponent of. Challenges, campaigns, really thinking, I would like to sit down and think, how could I influence or encourage, incentivize that patient to bring in 5 friends into the door? And so that really has to happen through powerful communication and messaging and thinking outside the box. And I like to consider this really leveraged delivery system. So if you were, for example, giving making one video to put out on YouTube or online or a live video, how are you repurposing that content? Are you taking clips of it, perhaps using it in your Instagram stories, putting it on LinkedIn, putting it on Facebook? Maybe you're making a TikTok video, and then also putting it out there. You could put audio on a podcast. You could put your videos on shared platforms of other people's. You could send links through emails, embed videos into emails. So really thinking about leveraging your effort and your time to scale out through all of the platforms that are available to you. We talked a few minutes ago about how patients are just people, consumers today are spending so much more time online and they're buying online. And so we have to meet them where they are. There's also so much more information that's being delivered in the online space. And so you really have to step up your frequency and be there for those clients and patients so that they can see that you're going to be consistently showing up for them every single time. And I wouldn't worry even about bombarding them with messages. Show up on camera, show them your personality, connect with them. So number one is visibility. Scale up your visibility. All right, number two has to do with what we just talked about, connecting with people. Those of you who have listened to me talk know I'm a big fan of this, human interaction and intervention. So human interaction and intervention. So what do I mean by that? I mean that be thinking through your marketing strategy about how you can connect with patients as human beings. Okay, Kaeli, what does that mean? Well, let's use Dr. Smith as an example. Dr. Smith spends a lot of money on marketing to find new patients and have them come in the door, and he set up a very sophisticated sales funnel so that those patients will get emails. They're really moving them down the pipeline, and those patients are part of this sales process that he has in place, which is wonderful. I wholeheartedly believe in processes. But right now in this time when people need connection and community and support and safety more than ever, it's time to intervene on that process to do the things that are going to help you connect with patients as real human beings. How are you going to get to them in their heart, right? How are you going to make them know that you're the trusted source for them to go to? And you're going to do that by being direct with them. So what I mean is direct messaging. So if you have an Instagram following, sending true direct messages and voice memos to people, introducing yourself, re-engaging with them, potentially talking with patients who have been to your practice in the past that you want them to come back in, that human touch is going to take them so much farther down the process of building rapport and trust with you than an automated message in the system that you have set up in place. So be thinking about direct messaging and direct phone calls. I've been talking about this for so many weeks. You guys are probably have heard enough of that. But making just simple phone calls to patients to check in on them and make sure that they're doing okay. Human emails. Often I have clients who say, I sent that email, it went out, and I usually have my clients CC me so I can see the communication that's going out. And I have to go dig around in my spam folder for it. And a lot of that just happens. A lot of times your emails go to patient spams because these sophisticated inboxes that we have can recognize a lot of the visual graphics and the cool things that make it look really pretty. They'll recognize that that's a mass produced email and put it right into the spam folder. And so you may think that you're sending an email out and 1,000 people are opening it, but the reality is only 15% of people are opening their emails. You heard my interview with Heather Trevine last week. 15% of people are even opening the emails, and only 5% of them are looking at and taking action on them. And so you have to have a pretty significant database to make those numbers work for your practice. But when you send a personal handwritten email or an email, even if it's cut and pasted, but it's coming from like a human, it looks like a human wrote it and it's coming from you or your team directly, the chances of your clients or potential patients opening it is so much higher and is going to make such a greater impact on them. And so human emails, and then the intervention piece of that. How many consultations do you need each week to grow? Knowing your numbers and thinking about the things that you need to put in place to make sure that you get those more patients coming in the door, or communicating with your practice, engaging with your practice than you did before. And we talked about these pivot for profit programs that we're building in my academy. The goal of that is to basically intervene through that sales funnel process that you've set up for patients and catch them early through the process to instantly build a know, like, and trust rapport with them. So be thinking about a combination of ways to communicate through human interaction, and then intervene and see what's working. See what's working. If you're putting a new program in place, I always recommend doing weekly audits of that program and giving it 90 days to test, so you know which messages resonated, which patients were really taking to your content, and then making changes and adapting to that, doing more of what's working and less of what's not working from there. So number 2, human interaction and intervention. Okay, are there any questions? I'll check them out. I'll answer a few questions at the end. If you have them, you can go ahead and type them into the Facebook feed. So number 3 is simplify. Right? Simplify your offers. So if you've heard of the Pareto principle or the 80-20 rule, think about and make sure that you know what 20% of activities are driving 80% of your sales. And if you know that and you really start to hone in on those activities, those procedures, the things that are creating more impact for you, higher profit. It might be something that's a lower revenue generating activity, but your costs are lower, and so you're getting a higher profit margin on it. But know what activities those are, if they're services or offers, something that's specific for you, for your practice, that is going to produce a higher return on investment, and really hone in on those things. Rather than doing so many things entirely, hone in on those activities that are driving, really impacting the 80% of your outcomes. And then boom, once you do that, imagine you could cut out the other 80% of activities that you're doing that are requiring more staffing power, more time, more energy, more cost out of your pocket, and give you more time so you can focus on doing the things that are going to make a bigger impact for you. In some cases, it may be taking a walk outside. It may be having an hour just to cope with all of these things that are going on, okay? Something I'll add to that about simplifying offers is I highly recommend at this time building long-term treatment plans. So an annual treatment plan, as an example, you really cannot afford right now to have, it's going to cost you more just to have a patient call and come in for a simple Botox filler treatment than it did in the past, because of the flow of practice, of protective equipment cost, of cleanliness cost, of your staffing cost, of all of the things that are happening in your practice. So you have to think about optimizing your revenue per patient. And so I highly recommend building treatment plans so that the patients that are coming in have a program that they can be on and know when they're coming in for their treatments to take care of their concerns through the course of the rest of the year. And this, by the way, is something that you could do online with them. You can do it virtually. You don't have to have them sitting in the office to have the majority of that type of a consultation. Or you could have somebody on your team developing these programs for you after they have their in-face consultation when they come in for their first appointment. So I highly recommend, when we talk about simplifying offers, leaning in, capitalizing on those activities that are producing the higher impact, and then building out treatment programs for those patients that are coming in for those. Okay, and number 4 is leadership. And this is something that is really my favorite thing to talk about and is near and dear to my heart, because particularly at a time of uncertainty when staff may or may not be excited to be coming back to work, they may be uncertain about their safety, patients may be uncertain about their safety, patients may be full-fledged, excited, ready to come in. We have clients that are booked out through the end of July and August. But you as a leader cannot be reactive at this time. You have to step into your leadership role to guide your team and to show them where you're going and what your plans and goals are through the course of this year. Instilling trust in your team and confidence in your team is mission critical to the way that patients are treated and how systems are executed and pulled through in the practice. Now, this also does happen to be the time if you have employees who are not able to, are not excited, are not engaged, are not going to be the right fit for the future vision that you have for your practice, it may be time to evaluate that and make those decisions right now. There really has not been a better time to reinvest in the people who are helping you and are really being a part of lifting up the business and growing the business and carrying the weight with you. But at the same time, there really has never been a better time than to trim the fat and cut the extra stress out of your life. And if you don't have a team of people that are behind you and helping you move to the same direction and to the beat of your drum, they're going to pull you back. It's going to be like a weight, like dragging an anchor behind you. So now is a good time to do an analysis of who's really cutting it on your team, who are your A players, and if they're not A players, if they're B players, putting a plan in place to coach them and get them to where they need to go. And if they're not B players, they probably are not belonging on the team. And it may be harsh to say, but the reality is that too many business owners in our aesthetic space carry people on their team because they care for them and they like them, and they start to evolve and the business shifts and changes and turns into something new and has new needs, and the business owner keeps the employee around because they're too entrenched and entangled up in the systems that were put in place in the beginning. But the business needs new things in place. And so part of leadership is really becoming a master team builder, and part of being a master team builder is bringing on, hiring the right people and letting go of the people who are not the right fit for the business. Okay, so what we employ in our company and we teach in our academy is really the 4X profit principle. Every employee should have KPIs, or key performance results-based indicators, that are tied to a revenue number for your business that is going to result in 4 times what their pay is. Okay, and so if you don't have these metrics in place and you would like some help figuring out from a leadership standpoint how to build that team, how to find out who can hang on your team, who should be a part of it, who should go, and how do you create the right systems to make sure that all of your employees are profit producing, then please set up a call with me. This is something that we will work on in the academy. We can work, there's just no pressure for us to have a phone call. You can chat with me or someone on my team about how we can help you through that process. And we'll put that link in the feed here. If you're seeing this on Facebook, if you're watching it on another source, we'll make sure we put the notes in as well, to get on the phone and talk about how to implement a system and a process in your company where all of your employees are producing profit, okay? And finally, part of being a leader is focusing on building a new culture. Now is the time, you guys. Now is the time to build the dream company that you have always wanted, okay? There are highly qualified people on the job market. There is a chance to reinvent yourself, to become a new business that you had hoped to be, that maybe you set out to become in the beginning, and you started moving too fast that you didn't weren't really able to take command over the process of where your business was going and the way that it shaped and formed. And sometimes we hire people for the tactical skills that they have, and they don't end up being exactly the right fit or the culture for the team. I hear very often from practice owners that I talk to that they have that one employee who is just that kind of toxic employee that they're happy for them to not show up one day or not to be around because they don't bring the right kind of energy to the business and to the rest of the team. And you just cannot have that. That will degrade that will just day by day chip at the culture and the environment that you are building for your business. And you want to have the people around you that are going to represent the culture that you have. And so you need to build an intentional culture. This doesn't happen just by I hire people and then, oh, this is our culture. That happens with having the leadership, a leader that is steering the ship in a certain direction that not only brings on people with a certain aptitude, but the right attitude, the right excitement about the business, the can do, the willing to pitch in, the person that is not going to say I can't do that because it's not my job, but really sees the bigger picture for the business. And if you don't have a business manifesto, you need to start there. You need to start with writing one sheet paper about your business and your culture and really honing in on what is your vision for the business? What is your mission? What are you set out to accomplish? And finally, what are your value systems? If you don't have values in place, it's going to be very difficult for you to hold an employee accountable to behavioral nuances that they really couldn't, they didn't know that they had to abide by in the beginning, okay? So focusing on culture, and you can roll that vision out by what I call vision casting, and that is sharing your vision in everything you do with your employees, every team meeting, and every interaction that you have with a customer. When you're doing audits with your team or you're holding them accountable to activities that you have put in place for them in terms of what their deliverables are, part of that should be, did you execute that in alignment with the vision of our company? And when you have those established from the very beginning, then you're not going to have the problems of trying to hold someone accountable to a number, but really they're just bothering you because they're not following your vision. They're not following the culture that you have. They're really behavioral issues that you're having with them, and they're not so much tactical and not so much related to skill. But if you put your vision in place in the beginning and you're constantly casting that vision with your team, the person who's not on board with that vision, they're going to be the outcasts. They're going to be the ones who don't fit in, because everybody walks and talks and breathes that culture that you have created and that you are instilling in your team as a visionary leader, okay, who is leading their team with purpose. Okay, so in recap, these 4 pillars: visibility, human interaction and intervention, simplify, and lead your team. If you focus on these 4 areas, you will prepare yourself, set yourself up to be able to adjust and adapt and thrive in the future of aesthetics. And again, I feel like we're broken records talking about uncertainty, but there is not going to be, we don't know what really the new normal is. Are we in it? Is this it? Is this happening? What's coming, right? There's a lot of questions that are coming up. And so we have to, by the way, all of these things I talked about cost you $0. They're the small things, but they're the things that are going to matter, that are going to give you leverage and make the most impact in your business. So please don't watch this video and then think about it. Get your pen and paper out and start evaluating yourself. Start from the bottom up. How are you doing as a leader? How does your team feel about the way that you're leading them through this time? Do they know what the future holds? Is there a plan for the business? Is there a plan for them as an employee? Okay, and then start to simplify. Cut back the things that are the extras in the business. Focus on the things that are bringing you the most impact. Roll those out with human connection in a handwritten note, a phone call, right? The things that make us people. Audit those, right? Intervene on that sales process and intervene on the methods that you're using to market to ensure that they are the most cost effective for you and that they're even effective. And scale up your visibility. Get yourself on camera. Get yourself out there connecting with humans and show up consistently, not just a couple times and then stop because, people weren't watching. Get out there and really scale up your visibility. Right? There's 60% of businesses have pulled back on marketing right now. That other 40%, that is wide open space for you to capitalize on opportunity. So if you want to step up as a visionary leader in your business, you may not be sure where, you may be feeling all the feelings. You may be going through a transformation right now where you have planted a seed and it started out as an idea and it feels like you are not making any traction in your business. And that could be because that seed is simply germinating. It's developing, it's becoming. And you just need to be doing those simple things every single day to consistently drive momentum and traction. The tactical things, the things that you want to do, those we can figure out. That's the easy stuff. That's which lever to pull, which marketing program, right? It's the things that it's identifying what you need to do as a leader to understand and know how to drive the vision of your business with your team and then put those systems and strategy in place. That is what's going to get you to the next level in your business. And you could be right there on the cusp and feel like, I know I'm doing this, I'm showing up, I'm doing all the things, Kaeli, I'm calling patients, I'm writing these notes, I'm doing all of these simple things, and I just don't feel like it's getting me to where I want to go. And you could be just one simple step away from getting there. And so please, if you're listening to me and you feel like you just need a little extra support and direction on where to take this, where to take your business, how to prepare your practice to thrive in the future of our newish normal. I like to call it 2020 2.0. The old 2020 nobody wants to be a part of, but the next 2020, 2021. Let's talk about your 5-year plan. Let's talk about your 5-year plan and put some big goals, some just freaking impossible goal in place and start setting up the systems, really putting a plan in place, a blueprint to help you get there. Asking the question, not what do I need to get there, but who? Who do I need to become? Who do I need to become and who do I need to have on my team to get me there? Okay? Thank you so much for being a part of this series. I hope that you have learned some things that you have been able to implement immediately in your business to strengthen your brand. We are all in this together. We're figuring out the adoption of the new aesthetic industry, of our economy, of consumer confidence, of really how within all of that do we fit as business owners and leaders and operators of aesthetic businesses. So I invite you to schedule some time to get on the phone, no pressure, so we can talk about what would your business, what it would take to get you to the next level. And I can assure you that by implementing these pillars that you are going to set yourself up for tremendous success. And if you have any questions for me, let me know. I will answer them in Facebook. And thanks for being here today. Have a great rest of the week.